Okay, welcome everybody to the third Tech Fellow workshop. This one is run by Nahee Kim. Keep in mind that this is being recorded and will be posted up later. Questions can be asked in the Q&A or in the chat. We'll be keeping an eye on that. So please enjoy. Nahee, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Hi, everyone. This is Nahee, and I think I can see the attendee's name, and then it seems like all the people coming from IMA, and then I'm quite familiar with the attendees. So yeah, during the workshop, feel free to ask me any kind of questions related to the content. Yeah, for today, I'm gonna introduce p5.js, which is a platform and library created with JavaScript, which is programming language. Um, uh, so p5.js is actually for the media artist. So that it's quite easy to use. That's the whole reason why it was created at the first time, to give more easy access to coding stuff for those whole visual artists. So we're gonna cover that language today by with some examples of face tracking. So I think all attendees already got the link to the workshop document, but I also, yeah, let me just start share my screen so that we can watch the document together. So here's a doc which I've already shared through the chat. So yeah, this is brief schedule I set for today's workshop. So by 1:30, we're gonna do some like introduction about p5.js and also like basics of like face tracking library, which let us to track our like face lines and also each part of our face face parts like eyes, nose, and mouth. And like from 1:30, I'm gonna show you some demo so that uh, show you like how to map some images or shapes over your face. And then like at the last part, for just 5 minutes, I want to have Q&A session. So today's goal is more like not to be intimidated by JavaScript, but it's not about like dealing like every basic steps of how to use JavaScript or programming language in general, because it's really short. So I just want to make some time like to have some fun with programming things, because usually it's people are feeling like some fear or like difficulties when they just like thinking about programming language in general. So yeah, let's just start from the what is JavaScript. So if you are taking any web-related class before, I think you might have heard of JavaScript, because it's one of the main components consisting modern web environment. So if you can see some kind of animation or any interactive elements from any kind of website, you can say that that's probably coming from JavaScript. Um, so I bring some like descriptions about what is JavaScript from Mozilla website, which is the company maintaining and creating the web browser Firefox. So yeah, so interactivity and some multimedia stuff from web are whole like related to JavaScript. And that means if you can do JavaScript, you can put like many interactive and also very rich contents to your own website. So yeah, here's very brief explanation or like breakdown of the three main elements of web. I just put that because I just want to briefly mention that there would be also HTML and CSS and JavaScript elements in our sketch example sketches today. So yeah, so HTML is almost like a basic structure of web. So you need HTML if you want to just like make a like basic and very a simple structure of your website. And CSS is more for decorating stuff. So first you create this very just basic structure of your website using HTML, and then you can like decorate them usually in like graphics using CSS. And then lastly, using JavaScript, you can add more animated, lively elements to your website. So that's the reason why today's class is more related to JavaScript, because we're gonna animate our webcam feed using p5.js. So yeah, if you need to read more details about these three elements, you can use this link below from Mozilla. And let's move on to p5.js. So p5.js is one of many libraries, open source libraries of JavaScript. So it's written in JavaScript, but the reason why it called as library is because it's already packed with very easy functions. You can just like get it and use right into your code. If so before p5.js created, you need to like write couple of pages of HTML and CSS and JavaScript code to make some interaction happen. Like if you want to get users click event, you need to write many codes. But like by using p5.js, you can just use one line into your code so that you can like engage users some behavior into your website. So that's the reason why we using this p5.js in today's workshop. So actually, so p5.js is originated from processing, which is Java, not JavaScript, Java-based language. Also, it's a kind of library for media artists. So it's the purpose is all same. So it's just like making some very easy access to those like difficult languages for those beginners and also like visual artists or any kind of artist to engage those codes into their practice. But p5.js is more web version of processing. The reason why it's good to be exported that processing language to web version is because we have our phone every day, so it's for people, for the viewers of your work, it's way much easier if you can post your work to web and then show that to many people than just using Java. And then like if you are using processing, you need to bring your own computer to show your work to other people. So yeah, it's easy, and it's easy to make very accessible to your potential viewers. So that's the reason why we are using p5.js in some like media art practice. So, and yeah, for today, you don't have to install anything. You just need to create one account uh, uh, in p5.js online editor website. So this is the one of the reasons why I choose this language for this workshop, because there's very nothing to you need to prepare before the workshop happen. Usually, like if you want to use any kind of this media art tool, you need to install tons of things. But for this p5.js one, you can just go to website and start your account and then copy the sketches I provided. That's the whole step. You need to activate the sketches I've made for this workshop. So let's move on to face tracking technology. So I think there will be some people using iPhone with Face ID feature, so that like if you want to open your phone, you can just like watch your phone's screen, so that the phone like automatically recognize your screen and then unlock the screen for you. So that's the one of the examples in our daily life using face tracking or face recognition technology. So yeah, like that, face tracking or face recognition in general is a technology like how to recognize human face using computer, using program, using webcam hardware. So people, I mean, scientists or computer engineers already built quite stable and very powerful models to recognize any human's face just through the camera feed. So that's what face tracking technology does. So there's a example of face ID, and also if you are using Instagram, um, you might already see that there's a lot of face filters. So that's still also one of the very popular examples of usage of face tracking. So, or like there is also very dystopic dystopic examples from China. I heard that they are using CCTV to uh, just the camera to recognize like random people's face and then use them for like some controlling their life from the government. So face tracking technology actually having very powerful how can I say? Uh, yeah, it's very powerful because it's almost like giving the computer some eyes, like tell the features from people. So it can be dangerous, but it can be interesting and fun if we can use if we can engage them into our creative practice. So yeah, in this workshop, we're gonna use CLM tracker. So there are a lot of like different kinds of face tracking algorithms, but we are using this one. It's quite very basic and it's very um, not that complicated one. um, if you like see the technology Instagram, Facebook using for their Instagram filter, it's way much more complex when they tracking their face than the CRM tracker one. But CRM tracker would be enough for today's purpose. Um, yeah, so I attached this markered base because these numbers with this red dot would be helpful when you create your when you map like some kind of any visuals onto your face. It'll be covered later in this workshop about how we can use each marker number inside our sketch. So yeah, just pin this image because we're gonna get back to this image later in the workshop. And I also want to briefly focus on the coordinate system in computer. So let's open this p5.js page covering coordinate system in general. They said people learned this coordinate system from mathematics in their 8th grade. I'm actually not sure if it's right or not because I'm not studying in United States. I wasn't studying in United States when I was 8th grade. So anyway, it's a little bit different than the coordinate system we've already quite familiar with. So when we first learned this coordinate system, there's x and y axis, and it's starting from this bottom left corner, and then the numbers growing when x is the x number is gets bigger to right side, and y's number is bigger when it's go up. But in computer, the beginning point, I mean the 0 point, is starting from top left corner, and the number is growing when you go to bottom right side, so like this direction. So it's a bit confusing when you just start to use this coordinate system, but it's just shared in like every software, every program in our digital life. So it's really good to be familiarize yourself to this system. So also in this page, p5.js also covered some simple shapes, how to draw these simple shapes in their language. Because yeah, it's good to learn this new system by practicing the drawing of each object in that system. So there's a lot examples here. This point example is too small, so I want to move on to this line example. So what we need to focus on is this line. So here's a brief explanation what's happening inside this line code. So line, two parameters, and the other two parameters on the third and fourth slots. So what this means is drawing lines from this x1, comma, and y1 point to x2, comma, and y2 point. So this left corner is having 10x and 20y from this point. So 10 and 20y, and you can get to this point. And for this right corner, it says it's 50 and 20. So from this top left corner, it's 50x and 20y to get to this point. And then this command means connect two dots so that we can create a line. So sketches is just growing in this page. So we just finished it, this line, and there's a example for how to create some rectangle. And so, and combining this whole shape sketches, we can create this weird shape. So I want I think if you want to know more about like how to draw something using only programming language, I mean using only p5.js, this page would be like good starting point. So please like look the other examples together if you want to know more about them. And I also gonna introduce the reference page of p5.js containing all those like shape functions. So just wait a little bit. So let's go back to our class document. And yeah, here's the link. Please use the link if you want to see more of them. And yeah, I just really briefly want to look into the files we're gonna use today. So like I said before, it's also web page. I mean, the p5.js sketch is also web page. So there's a HTML file and also CSS file. But what we're gonna use usually in today's workshop is this sketch.js, which is JavaScript file containing all the sketch elements inside. So whenever you roast in among those sketch files, please just get back to sketch.js if you want to if you want to just update your sketch, not the structure itself. So yeah, sketch.js, it's important to remember. And here are some like weirdly named JavaScript files. These are just related to face recognizing stuff. Um, I also like never look inside the each file. Like some starts with model and some named as CRM tracker, because it's really complicated. But once if you can import that inside your sketch, it's just giving that powerful function to just like use those features very easily. So yeah, so these files is existing here just for that purpose. So here are 4 different example sketches I created for this workshop. And before we open any example code, I want to go over these steps of how to use example code, because if you don't have p5.js account, it's hard to copy the sketches, the original sketch I've created, to your own account. If that step not happening, I mean the copying the examples, you cannot you cannot import your own images from your PC, your computer. So I think it's important to go over this step. So please open this sign up page. Because I'm already signed up to p5.js, so I cannot see the login page or sign up page. But using this link, please create p5.js editor account. And then after you created your account and also sign in to your using your new account, go back to this example code rings and just open like any like one of them. Yeah, like this. And then before run this sketch, please go to file and click duplicate. Yeah, and for now, I think you can see your own name, username, here next to the sketch title. So this means the sketch is duplicated to your own account. And I think you can see the list of sketches you copied or you created using this button, My Sketches. It's just like inside your username. So yeah, this if you finish this step, I think there will be no problem to you to use your own images into the workshop sketches. So and yeah, let's see what will happen if we click this run or play button. Yeah. So in this one, in this sketch, I just like I put some like images over my eyes and nose and mouth using image function inside p5.js. But I think you might see some. Sorry, my bell is ringing. So if you just like open this p5 JS sketch page first time, I think you might can see some like small pop-up around this area saying like you need to allow this page to use your webcam feed. And if they ask that kind of question, just say yes so that you can see your webcam feed. And yeah, I think that's the whole step, which let you just learn this example code using your own laptop or your computer. So yeah, I think we are ready to uh, move to our next step, which is just showing demos or using these example sketches. So let's just start from this example with images code. So there's 4 different versions of this face tracking sketches, but I want to start demoing with this last one, which is code with face tracker and images. So open this one, and like I said before, like if you just open this sketch first time, please duplicate them using file duplicate. And yeah, after run this sketch, checking your webcam feed working well, click this button so that you can see the list of files imported inside this sketch. Yeah, this structure seems almost the same as the screenshot I attached inside workshop document. So there's a sketch.js file which we already opened here. And here's some image files inside image folder. So this eye and mouth and nose PNG image is mapped now onto my face. So if you want to use your own image, you need to import your image into this folder. I first want to show that step so that we can move to just like use that image inside our sketch.js file. So yeah, just hover over the image folder. And if you hover onto them, you can see this small triangle showing up like this, and click this button. And yeah, here's this option, upload file. Click this one and drop any like image files, PNG or JPG file to this pop-up. So I'm having this eyeball PNG file, which I want to use for this demo. So yeah, I think the upload is done because I can see the file here. Yeah, once you successfully import your image, I think now you are ready to load and use the image you just uploaded. So let's move to this sketch.js part. So here you can see this section with a lot of image file names. So yeah, this is the part you need to change if you want to use your own image. So let's change this i.png file name to eyeball.png file. And because I cannot see the change, if you cannot see the updates you just created into the sketch file, you just need to hit this run button again. Yeah, now I got my eyes here. So it's a little bit squashed because I think the dimension is not matched with the eye text image file. So this is just the most easiest way how you can just mess up with this sketch without like with without any full knowledge about what this each function works. So yeah, but for now, I just want to briefly explain what this each function's doing inside this sketch. So here's a preload function, which is just for loading images so that your sketch will not lag while you are running them in your browser. So if you want to engage any kind of like image elements inside your p5.js sketch, you it's not mandatory, but people are recommending using this preload function. So yeah, that's it. And for this function setup part, because usually the sketches created using this p5.js are animated. So there's a two big chunk inside the sketch.js file or p5.js. One is setup, which is like the stuff we just dragged now. So setup is just like a one-time thing. It's just like set the things up before the animation or any kind of interactivity happens inside your browser. So like set the size of the image, like using create canvas and width and height, and or you can also calling some pre-made libraries uh, inside setup, because you don't have to call these libraries every time you render the frames. You it's not impossible, but it's just like harms the performance of your work. So those stuff are recommended to be located inside setup function. And so, and the second chunk, which is more about actual like rendering and drawing, is function draw. And this draw function, it will be called per every frame. So like it's almost like we are using Premiere or After Effects. So in there, they count the moving images based on frame. So it's almost same in here, but it's just like programmatically code those sketches, those commands I created inside Draw. So whatever written in draw function, it will be called every frame. So if the frame rate is 30 frames per second, this code will be this code will be called for like 30 times each second. So using this draw function, you might can implement some animating visuals or sound. So, and this is the part I put some code relate to how to render, how to import these images I imported inside the image folder using the tracker markers. So let's look more about this image code so that we can see what these numbers means or this each parameters mean inside this image code. So let me just randomly change the numbers here so that we can see what's gonna happen. So if I just change this 27 to 1, and then run the sketch, so you can see that the location of I is a bit changed. And let's get back to our class dot with these marker numbers so that we can check where number 1 marker is located and number 27 marker is located. So the sketch start with 27's markers position so that I can render the eye image over my left eye. But because I just changed the marker to the first marker, which is more located around the cheeks, my left cheek. So that's the reason why this eye just moved to this weird part. So from now, let's just pick one marker and move the images to that changed location. So let's say move one marker to this 7th one. Let's change the image mapped onto the mouse. So change the location to 7, where 7th marker is located. And yeah, so now this mouse image is rendered around my chin because I'm using the 7th marker, which just like detecting where my chin is. So this is also the other way you can play with like different marker numbers. You can just copy this line and just change the marker number. And now you have multiple mouse text image inside the webcam feed. So next step you might can play with is change this coordinate. So these two numbers is not the coordinate. These two numbers is for the size of the image. So these two parameters are located right after the image name is for location of where the image is supposed to be mapped. And these two last parameters is for setting the size of each image. So let me just change the last parameter to 500 and let's see what's happened. So see, you can see that the height of the image is enlarged so much because I just applied 10 times bigger number to the height of this mouse text image. So we might can change the height of these eyeballs because it's squished up and down. So maybe we can apply larger number to the height of this each eyeball image. Yeah, and now it's rendered well. And let me just change this first marker position to 27th one. Yeah, now I got pretty looking my eyeballs. And yeah, this is the way how you can do some fun changes to this image sketch. And there are also different examples engaging some shape function from p5.js. So let me just open this first one and run this. And this is really basic example with this simple white circles over my eyes and nose and mouth. And you can check that like here's some like similar like positions function which we already checked from the image sketch, which we just covered like a few seconds ago. But it's just the first command is a bit changed from image to circle because it's about drawing a circle over my face, not like rendering the image over my face. So yeah, it's also same. So change the marker number and change the size of circle. And yeah, you can see that the this enlarged circle just floating around my cheek. And if you want to use different shapes in your sketch, you can go using this p5.js reference link so that you can check different shape command. We already use this circle from the shape sketch, and we already saw how to use line function from when I explained the coordinate system. And you can also draw some rectangle and triangles over your face. So there's one fun example of using triangle in our workshop document. So if you go all the way down, so this person using different markers and also using the triangle function to use this very actively changing mask using the same face tracker. And if you can use some line function with different colors and also the circle, you can create this sketch, this kind of sketch. And the last example is just the same one. We can check from the example code. Yeah, I want to share these important resources. The first one is just p5.js website. And the second one is the resource I highly recommend for the people who wants to learn more about p5.js or any kind of creative, interactive programming in general, which is the YouTube channel titled Coding Train by Daniel Schiffman. He's a professor in NIU teaching interactive art, and the videos he created to explain the p5.js or processing is really really easy and very detailed. So I recommend to watch these tutorials. And I also want to show you how you can share your sketch, because I think you might want to import that to your own website or want to share that to your friends or teachers. So let's go back to one of our examples. And if you open this file, there's this share button, and I think you can use this present mode or full screen mode link to share your sketch to your any other web page, or if you want to just like share this to your friends so that you can play with different versions of face masks. And yeah, and I don't bring any practicing time in this workshop, because the workshop is just only 1 hour and it's too short. But if you go over this tutorial again and play with the sketches, and then if you have any question, just shoot me an email to this email address. I can answer your any question related to the workshop itself, or if you want to like know more about a website or any interactive programming practice, I can also discuss them together. And for the next step, I'm not sure if the next one will happen in soon, but I'm thinking about like doing tutorials about Spark AR Studio, which can be some like 3D version of this workshop, this same workshop. But it'll be more fun because you can use those filters you created inside your Instagram so that you can share that to your people in your account. So yeah, that's it for today's workshop.
Does anybody have any questions while we have Nahee online? Now would be a great time to ask. Okay. There we go. Do you do motion tracking as a question? Nahee?
Oh yeah, I can see that. What kind of motion tracking you want to use? Like whole body motion tracking, or I used some computer vision library before, which let you do this kind of thing. Like you can track the movement of people who are in the webcam screen, and then like you might can do some like beautiful visuals uh, around the tracked images of them. So yeah, it's because this motion tracking in general is too broad. You can also use your whole body tracking. So that's the reason why I'm so murmured. But yeah, if you have any like specific project in mind you want to like implement, I can I can talk more via email if you want.
Great. Thank you very much, Nahee. This has been recorded and we'll put it up on the web in a few days. All right. Enjoy, everybody. Stay safe. Thanks,
Thank you
Nahee.
all.